All right, let's get right into it. To really get New York City, you've got to look at its DNA. And that DNA, right from the very beginning, was coded with this fundamental defining tension, a constant tug of war between two really powerful ideas that didn't just build a city, they helped shape a whole nation.
And this is ground zero for the whole story. This contrast right here. Before the skyscrapers, before the pavement, the island was Mannahatta, a natural place, a land of hills and streams. But when the Dutch showed up in the early 1600s, that's not what they saw. No, they saw a strategic harbor, a blank canvas for a massive global business venture. The story of New York starts in that clash, the clash between what the land was and what a corporation wanted it to be.
You know, unlike the Pilgrims up in New England who were searching for religious freedom, the founding of this settlement was incredibly simple. It wasn't about God, it was about money. It was all business. And what's so wild is who founded the city. It wasn't a king or a queen. It wasn't a religious movement. It was a publicly traded company. I mean, think about that. It was like a giant 17th century corporation with a board of directors, shareholders, and a total laser focus on the bottom line. Every single decision, from where to put a street to how to govern the people, it all came down to one question: is this going to make us money?
Well, this obsession with commerce created a totally unique kind of place. You didn't get a community of like-minded believers. Instead, you got a magnet for anyone and everyone looking to make a buck, find a job, or seek their fortune. It became this chaotic, super diverse, and incredibly energetic port town where, get this, by the 1640s, you could hear 18 different languages on the streets. It was a global city from day one. But there's a catch, right? When you bring together a ton of ambitious, independent people from all over the world and then try to run their lives like they're just employees of your company, well, you're gonna have a fight on your hands. And that is exactly what happened. It was a showdown between corporate control and personal freedom. And you can see this huge conflict play out in the battle between these two guys. On one side, you've got Peter Stuyvesant. He's the tough, peg-legged director general, the ultimate company man. His job? Enforce the rules, keep order, and make the company money. But on the other side, you have Adriaen van Donck. He's a lawyer, and he starts arguing that the people here, they aren't just assets on a balance sheet. They're citizens. And they deserve a voice in their government and the right to trade freely. This quote from van Donck just nails their whole mindset. See, they weren't calling for a revolution. They were making a business argument. They were saying, hey, if you give us more freedom, more control over our own affairs, everyone does better. We prosper, our homes prosper, and yeah, even the company will prosper. It was a demand for self-determination, plain and simple. And look, this is so important. This early fight wasn't just some minor squabble. This is the moment the city's personality was forged in fire. It became a place defined by that constant push and pull, this deep-seated idea that commerce works best when people are free, and that regular folks have a right to stand up to authority. And that idea, well, it would have massive consequences down the road. So that sets the stage. But the whole Dutch experiment, it's about to get a major shakeup because a new global power was sailing over the horizon. So in 1664, an English fleet just sails right into the harbor. Now Stuyvesant, the company man, he wanted to fight, but the citizens, the merchants, they had zero loyalty to the company that was always trying to control them, so they basically refused. The colony was handed over without a single shot being fired. But here's the key thing. The flag changed, the name on the sign changed to New York, but the city's fundamental operating system, its DNA, that stayed exactly the same. It was still all about making a deal, all about the hustle, and its people were just as skeptical of authority as ever. And you can see where this is going, right? That rebellious commercial DNA made New York the perfect incubator for the American Revolution. I mean, the exact same arguments the citizens were having with the Dutch West India Company about free trade and individual rights, they were now the very same arguments the colonies were having with Great Britain, just on a much bigger scale. And the city found itself smack in the middle of it all. This is where the Stamp Act riots exploded. It was the site of the Battle of Long Island, the largest battle of the entire war. It suffered through a massive, devastating fire and then a brutal 7-year military occupation by the British Army. By the time the British finally left in 1783, New York had been tested by absolute fire and war. Okay, so the city has been through the ringer. It was founded by a corporation, it fought for its rights, it became the epicenter of a revolution. So what's next? Well, what comes next is pretty much the logical conclusion of its entire history.
In 1789, just a handful of years after the war ended, New York City is named the very first capital of the new United States of America. George Washington himself was sworn in as president right there on Wall Street. And when you really stop and think about it, it had to be New York. It couldn't have been anywhere else. What other city so perfectly captured the ideals of this new nation? Here was a place literally built on commerce, a city that had been fighting for free trade and citizen rights for 150 years. It was the ready-made financial and ideological engine for a country founded on those exact principles.
So, let's just boil this all down. What are the big takeaways? First, remember that New York was born as a for-profit business, not a religious colony. Second, its identity, its soul, was forged in that constant tension between business and personal freedom. Third, that early fight for citizen rights in a little Dutch town, it set the stage for the entire American experiment. And finally, it's that foundational conflict that ultimately propelled it to become the global capital it is today. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. From Wall Street deals to neighborhood debates, from arguments about massive new developments to the basic rights of an individual, does that original 400-year-old tension between making a dollar and living a free life, does it still define the character